Hey guys, Stockett here. I want to give you a quick update on what's been going on. The fact that I'm actually going to be playing Classic, even though I've said multiple times before that I'm not going to be, and some 3.8 news. I'm very excited to announce we have another developer beta class lined up for 3.8. 3.8 is being announced on the 20th of August, and it looks like we're going to have the developer beta class on the 1st of September. We're picking between the 24th and the 1st. By putting it on the 1st, that means that we get a bit more time to get more spoilers come out, gives GGG a bit more time to prepare their answers to our questions about 3.8, and it also lets the 3.8 hype come out after the Classic launch on the 26th, which a lot of people are really looking forward to, myself now included. So yeah, lots of PvE content to come soon. So why am I playing Classic, since I said I wasn't going to multiple times? My best friend IRL is like die-hard vanilla, dude. And I saw him a few weeks back, and just talking to him and how excited he was got me excited. And then I realized they may not do this again. We don't know if they're going to do another Classic. We don't know if they're going to be doing like BC. We don't know if they're going like old school RuneScape style. We just don't know, and to miss it would be a real shame. So I'm taking the gamer route. I'm not taking the business route. The business route would be ignore it and just keep making PoE stuff. But I'm going to enjoy Classic for the start. I will still be making content for 3.8. I'll still be streaming 3.8 launch and all that good stuff. But yeah, from the 16 days of the launch of Classic to PoE, I'm going to be streaming a whole bunch of Classic. I'll still be making my like pre-league build guides and all that good stuff. Don't worry about it. But expect most of my stream to be Classic, and then expect the YouTube videos to be 3.8 PoE. So for that early bit, expect just like, again, streaming, Classic WoW, YouTube, PoE. If there is interest in having some Classic WoW videos, let me know. If I were to make Classic WoW videos, it would be in the form more of like updates where my character is at, like progression-based updates, not so much guides. There are loads of guides. If you want to know stuff, it's like a 15-year-old game. You can just find it. So I don't think that's necessarily something that I'd be suited to, and a lot of people have already done much better versions of that. That being said, though, I have actually prepared a fairly handy, like, TLDR set of notes, which is a mixture of the Icy Vein notes and, where is it? Korgoz's very good, very in-depth Hunter notes. Would highly recommend watching this video in full. I'll leave a link to it down below. It's an hour-long video. He also has a link to a slide with 139 slide presentation. That's great if you watch it and it's crazy in depth. But the issue I have, I don't know if you guys have the same thing, when you're presented with information, unless you make your own notes, you don't remember any of it. I watched this video like 3 times and I realized that none of it was going in. So I made my own TLDR version, what I think is like the most important things when it comes to stuff you just need to know about hunters, from a base version for Classic Phase 1. That's the other important thing. A lot of the very in-depth vanilla-based guides are guides which are made for like private server players, so they don't really take into account what will be available in Phase 1. So I found, especially when it came to the gearing set up in this guy's video, a lot of it was referencing like Dire Maul loot, which just won't be there. That's the good thing about Icy Vein. So for any class, if you're going to be playing Classic, I would recommend checking their WoW Classic section, and they have a whole bunch of really good stuff there. And just be careful that any forum guides you're reading aren't private server guides, because they might be telling you to get enchants and gear that you can't actually get in the first phase of Classic WoW. Other things I would recommend just referencing for people who are just curious of playing stuff. Joanna is a fairly famous power leveler. Very, very detailed guides. Also has some very handy like hunter specific tips and tricks, but it also shows you some like leveling routes and all this good stuff. Would recommend checking it out. If you go on CurseForge and you search by game version, you can actually pre-install all of your add-ons. The stress test is currently active until Monday. We don't know when it's going to close exactly, so you can actually install all of your add-ons now, which is what I've done in the background. And also for hunters, if you go on Petopia, they have a Classic section which has all the pets available in Classic. Pets work very differently, so I'll just read a very like short version from what I have from my TLDR. This just gives you an idea of why Classic WoW is really cool compared to like modern day WoW, because it has a lot of things similar to PoE, lots of cool mechanics which are fairly obscured, And for some people that's terrible, but if you like the theorycraft bullshit, it's fun. So in Classic, you're going to have 3 pets. So you have like 2 stabled, 1 active that you rotate between. So you can't just have everything and anything, and different pets have different abilities and different pets. So there are pet families. For example, bats would be one family, owls, bears, so on and so forth. They have different stats. So you need to like really think about all of this stuff. Also, one thing to keep in note, Classic, even though it's phase 1, is using patch 1.1.3. So anything you read about vanilla, make sure you're reading from patch 1.13. So in 1.13, all pets have been normalized. Previously, some pets actually did more damage than others. A good example of this would be the Zul'Gurub bats and Broken Tooth, which is a rare cat. So they have the fastest attacks per second, but because they've been normalized, they do not out DPS other cats and bats when it comes to PvE content. They are still optimal when it comes to caster pushback, because the way that casters work back then is if they're casting a spell and they get hit, it gets pushed back. Like the cast takes longer. So people really prioritize the really high attack speed pets for that. Another very famous vanilla pet which has been patched is Lupos, which is a wolf which did pure shadow damage. That will only do physical damage like all other pets, other than wind serpents in Classic. So when I talk about like the whole pet family thing, and I'm sure a bunch of you, this is just going like way over, but I'm just going to read it anyway. So while all pets are normalized, different families have different base HP, armor, and damage. Anything from minus 10% to plus 10%. I go through like the different options, the best ones, where to get them, what their diets are, because you actually have to feed your pet, and that's really important, because if you don't feed your pet, they get sad and they run away from you, literally. So you've got to like be feeding them so they're happy, and when they're happy, they do bonus damage. And like this stuff is just kind of cool. So I go through all of that stuff. You also need to tame pets of a certain level to unlock pet abilities. So if you got a level 1 boar, it won't have the same abilities that a max level boar has. So you could take that level 1 boar, level it all the way to 60, but you then have to tame another pet to get the max ranked abilities. So for example, the easiest way of getting the max rank focus dumps, for most pets being claw and bite, you would want a Winter Spring Screecher, which is an owl found in Winter Spring between levels of 57 and 59. And from that, you get rank 8 Claw, rank 4 Screech, and rank 3 Dive. The Blood Axe Warg in Blackrock Spire gives you rank 8 Bite, rank 4 Ferocious Howl, rank 3 Dash. You can kind of see how this gets like super complex, and none of this stuff exists in live. So this stuff's kind of cool. There's also, in Classic, you have like talent setups and training points for your pets. So you actually need to like spec your pets, and you'll respec them and give them different resistances based on the content you're doing. So Molten Core, for example, you want to focus on getting that fire and shadow resistance. And that kind of stuff is just really cool. I also have some links to like some leveling specs, pre-raids setup if you have a low hit rating, then like a rating setup. These are semi-optimal. I've tweaked them slightly to be kind of more open world and PvP friendly, because again, I don't know how much I'm really going to play, so I just want like can do everything specs. I go a bit into stat requirements. Most of this is coming from the Core God stuff, and then I'm planning on going leatherworking, so I linked a guy who had a very handy leatherworking guide. Again, this will all be linked down below. And then I do have some like best and slot lists, and again, not taking credit for this. This is mostly me just condensing other people's words so I can remember it, and it's just kind of fun. And I've got a Discord full of people that I'm going to be playing with, who are people I used to play with IRL, or I played with in Legion and stuff, and it's just handy having this stuff to share with them. We only have 2 hunters, but the other hunter might find this mildly interesting, so I thought I'd put it all together, and I'm sure maybe one of you might be playing Classic and might be playing Hunter, might find this interesting. One thing I do need your help for, and this is the most important part and why I'm truly making this video. I'm playing a female dwarf for reasons. Am I playing a dark ginger dwarf, a blonde dwarf, or a light ginger dwarf? Now, the light ginger is the stereotypical dwarf hair color. There's no transmog in vanilla, so you can't change this shit. There's no barber shop, so once you make it, you made it. That's set in stone. So this is very crucial questions. The blonde is the most boring, and you can see here, like, the particles clip really badly. But because it's a neutral color, it will work with most armor sets. And when I say armor sets, your random green shoulders with your blue chest and your, like, purple boots. This is very bold. This might clash. This is slightly less bold. I think this one looks the best, personally. But yeah, 1, 2, or 3. For people wondering what servers I'm playing on, we don't know. We're waiting to see. I will be on EU, and I'll let you know closer to the date, but I don't know. We don't know. There's been a lot of, like, weird drama when it comes to people picking servers based on, like, what streamers doing, not being enough servers, all this whole stuff. Without getting into all of that good stuff, I will be playing Classic. Let me know if you would like to see Classic content on the channel. 3.8 developer beta class will be coming very soon. Super excited for that. And health-wise, I am doing better than my last video, but still not great. But that can be its whole separate other thing. Hope you're all doing well. Have a good day.